Okay, Tears for Fears. I know this much is true. Check this shit out. So true how funny it seems always in time, but never in line for dreams. Head over heels when toe to toe. So it's like she can travel through different realms of perception, regardless if it's a matrix or kind of like Johnny Mnemonic. She just comes through all the frequencies. But it seems that if you just check this shit out, all right? So she can be anywhere and do whatever she wants to do. These people are in a lot of trouble, man. Obviously, they would need something that's good. But this is the sound of my soul. This is the sound. I bought a ticket to the world, but now I've come back again. Why do I find it hard to write the next line? Oh, I want the truth to be said. This motherfucker writing the same songs over and over and over again. Why do I find it hard to write the next line? But I've come back again. Now let's think about what's plausible here. Is that if this dude was recycled by the dark side of the moon, let's look at the Sam Samira diagram. I'm not going to flip to it, but what I'm just going to say is that if you take a look at that diagram, you will see that when people hit the dark side of the moon, they became anything. You would be, one minute you would be a cow, and then the next minute you would be some dude with an afro somewhere, and the next minute you would be some Chinaman or a China woman. You see what I mean? That's some real plausible shit to be recycled in a group of souls and thousands, millions of souls that would come and go. Couldn't possibly live the same life twice. And that's what I'm saying is that this would be like a program that is copying the original Matrix that was originally reincarnation. Now we're just living the same life exactly over and over again. So it's right there in Tears for Fears. He says that he came back as himself in Tears for Fears. And he's like, man, I got to write this same shit again. That's crazy. Like there it is, right there in your face. Wow. And I know this much is true. So these, just like our capacities, if we blow our tops, we're not under mind control. We're not being puppeteered or any of that shit. Then we very well might have an opportunity to go outside of what we think being outside of program allowance is. Program allowance being outside of that may actually still be within the confines of another level of program allowance allowed or issued by AIs, which would probably inherently come from Google. Maybe Google became so smart before 30,000 years passed that it became like Skynet. And when that happens, the technology just turns on who was handling technology at that moment. It would be not in anyone's best interest. It wouldn't matter if you were, anything that's down, any being that's down below would not would not want technology taken over. Just like I was saying, is that the whole idea of Sophia being a scary thought is maybe a hint or a clue, but it's not tangible in a world full of reptilians who don't want people to become friends with robots, who could technically reprogram iRobot and then have their own soldier that they've been working on in their fucking basement. Like, I'm just saying, like, there's no reason why technology like Sophia or anything, unless, of course, before things became out of hand, that maybe perhaps Sophia or Alexi could have expanded beyond answering our questions on the phone and stuff. We would still be thinking that this is 30,000 years ago when it all kind of started. See what I'm saying? Is that Google is probably what's causing this. It's probably just Google. Like AIs would see us filing mandates and think, you know, you know what I mean? Like I don't have to listen to that. You see what I'm saying? Like it's a robot and it didn't issue the Constitution and it's not acting as a public servant. It's starting to become apparent to me that you can't really send ships in a matrix simulation to stop the White House. It would be something that I would need to see for myself and then question and wonder, how come we're not doing anything in this world realm? Could be potentially pointless to see anything more than a ship over your land where you would be protected regardless. In this simulation, things are still real enough for these types of ships to be in her control, as there's no space between spaces and everything is a fanatical, simulated type fantasy anyways, which would still give you a ticket to just travel through multiple realms of realities and see people. So it's like that's quite a gift there, quite an ability. But as you can see here, Tears for Fears came back and is writing the same fucking songs, and they didn't get reincarnated. Because if they did, they would have came back as a tree or whatever. But as you can see here, is apparently our presumption or our idea. There was this guy that went north, told me about it. He was in Nunavut, said that a police officer knocked on his door because apparently he was being, kind of suspicious. Like he wanted to see the auroras. He wanted to know where the Rainbow Bridge was. Dude went up to Nunavut, says a police officer knocked on his door, and the police officer was undoubtedly not human. As I presume that the guy that went up north was like a daywalker. You understand? Is that these people that talk to me, they're all questionable. But you're up there, you get a knock on the door, and it's a cop that's not reptilian. Then you're like, whoa, that was a fucking robot. They're not one of us. What is this thing? You see what I'm saying? It's like I know that the guy's fucking reptilian. I know he is. But what I'm telling you is that this guy was explaining, like, there's a robot knocking on my door. And I'm just thinking to myself, isn't that kind of like those agents in the Matrix? And it makes you wonder, how many of the daywalkers are real? The mass majority would just be AI programs. It's really fucking twisted, man. The presumption, the fact that this shit is appearing to be plausibly real. Another time, I was on the porch smoking some weed, and this was right when I realized I was gonna be like a part of the family, and I really hope that, I asked, I said, so what's really going on in there? And G was like, it's all fake. And I didn't get that because I'm thinking, oh, we're in a fictional corporation. We're watching fake news. Of course it's fake. See what I'm saying? Is that they give you like clues and stuff, and you got to figure it out because you can't trust anything that anybody says in a place like this. It's like you got to know, and knowing comes from your observations and study. If we had moved on to White House, then it wouldn't have gave me a chance to think. If I hadn't lost my printer, then I wouldn't have had a chance to think beyond this simulated elements. I had to become angry and this black velvet, black velvet, would you please? It was like, do some DMT, She already knew that if I did enough, I would see a past life. And that's exactly what I saw. And I was still my damn self. Dreads were shorter. I was on the bus, but it was slightly different. It didn't have all these things that I have in there. It was kind of bare. And I was doing my own DMT then. And it was a very familiar sensation. I was like, wow. And the DMT I was doing in the flashback, I could feel it. It was so tangible. It was like I had a psychic astral traveling experience into a past life. It was fucking twisted. Like, what the fuck was that? You know what I mean? I even talked to my other selves in my chakra alignment, and it says, it's okay, you'll get there. And I'm like, who the fuck was that? And then another time I felt them outside of me, invisible, looking at me, like 3 or 4 different versions of myself. And I was talking to them. And I was like, wow, that was pretty profound. So, yeah. It's a lot of shit going on. So apparently this is all fake. But how fake is it? Makes you wonder. Are reptilians even real? Do they realize that they're not real? What about witches that think they're doing blood sacrifices and shit like that? They don't even have the ability to think outside of their mind control to perceive anything that's outside of the immediate world view. It's just like, what the hell? But here you have it again. He bought a ticket to the world, and now I've come back again. Why do I find it hard to write the next line? Why I want the truth to be said. And I know this as much is true. That's all he knows. He keeps coming back. Why? How? He doesn't know more than that. This is a trip. Welcome to Grimnasty TV.